Hey guys, Stickman91 here, and welcome back to another video. Today, again, we're going to be doing something a little bit different today. Basically, obviously, we are going to be talking about Forsaken, but again, we're doing something a little different today. So I have a question. Like, we all know the killers in Dead by Daylight, right? Like Jason Voorhees, John Doe, Cool Kid, One Axe, and all the survivors, like Elliot, Schletsky, and Chance. Well, one thing I'm wondering is how did the survivors and the killers like end up in this situation? Like how did they end up in these trials, so to speak? And I'm just going off based on the lore that I got and my own personal like theories and stuff. And I assume that it's like a Dead by Daylight situation where an evil eldritch entity has like been kidnapping these characters and bringing them into these trials. And I looked it up, and apparently the entity is called the Spectre, which brings like the killers and the survivors into these trials. So I'm going to talk about how I think the killers, how Spectre was able to get all the killers in here through either making a deal, convincing, or manipulation. So, yeah, let's get started. Alright, so we're going to be starting off with John Doe as our first killer. And you all know the myth, right? Where, like apparently it was said that all Roblox accounts would be hacked by John Doe and Jane Doe on March 18th. And if you look at his lore, it apparently but yeah, if you look at John Doe's lore, it apparently says the defunct code of the early days of Roblox courses through their body, consuming his mind as he now only focuses on one thing: to kill everyone in his path, an unstoppable force entering the round with a strategical mindset. He's able to set traps, summon walls to back survivors in the corners, and leave behind a faint trail that damages those who step in it. So yeah, apparently John Doe had been corrupted by the old code of Roblox, where he was then corrupted. Because like like as you can tell, like the giant spike is now like the ones and zeros, he's being corrupted, and like that's how I think that the Spectre was able to like take control of him. I do believe that after he became corrupted, John Doe was essentially in a weakened state where his body was like, trying to absorb all that code, so he was left in a weakened state, which was just enough for the Spectre to capture him and bring him here. That's at least my theory. Let me know yours in the comments below. Alright, so for the Jason Voorhees part, I am gonna go into some heavy spoilers for Friday the 13th, for the Friday the 13th movies. But apparently, in Friday the 13th, the final chapter, which is the final movie, Jason Voorhees is killed by Tommy after being stabbed multiple times in the head with his own machete, where Jason then dies. So, yeah, I think it's safe to say that Spectre had managed to bring Jason back to life and send him to these trials, and like where he was able to send him here, giving him a chainsaw. I think the reason that Spectre gave him a chainsaw is to either like show care by just being like, hey dude, listen, I'm your friend here. So I think that's why Jason wields a chainsaw, because it was a gift given to him by the Spectre, so Jason would be obedient. It's kind of like, I gave you a chainsaw, and you have to follow my lead. At least that's my theory. Again, let me know yours in the comments. Alright guys, so apparently I made a mistake. So, how I just said that the chainsaw was a gift from Spectre? Well, according to his lore, it says he enters Damnation wielding a chainsaw he found in a cabin. So yeah, but I don't think it's hard to believe that Spectre did leave that chainsaw for Jason. Like, I know it says that he found it in a cabin, but I don't think that it's impossible to believe that chainsaw was meant for Jason. That, like, Spectre had left that chainsaw in a cabin, knowing that Jason would have grabbed it or something. I don't know. And moving on to our final killer, we have 1x1x1x1, who I am just going to be calling 1x for the remainder of this video. And I don't really know a lot about 1x, only the fact that he was a famous Roblox killer. But according to his lore, it says he is the physical manifestation of pure malice, hatred, and negativity himself. And one who despises no one else more than the former admin Shedletsky. With the Daemon Shank in his hand, he can summon beings of rot from the seas as well as target survivors from afar, poisoning them in the process. So yeah, alright, so I looked it up, and apparently, like, 1x had gained notoriousness for hacking, for exploiting in games like Crossroads, where Lee Shedletsky is a real Roblox developer, and apparently 1x was like created by Shedletsky. At least that's what the internet says. Like, I don't know exactly what it means by created. Like, I don't know if Shedletsky had created the myth or if Shedletsky's on the account. Yeah, I know, that's just what it says according to the internet. Oh, and another thing I found on the internet, 1x, like 1x looks nothing like he does in Forsaken. Because, like, in actual Roblox, 1x is like a guy with a round head and an evil body. But here, he's like a black skeleton with, like, green and a red anime. As I don't know what happened, but I don't know what happened, like, I don't know. Alright, so here's my theory for 1x. So apparently, after 1x was, like, banned by Shedletsky from Roblox for hacking Crossroads, for, like, hacking Roblox Crossroads, I think that, like, apparently the entity or Spectre had, like, been able to kidnap him for his hacking skills. And after 1x had tried to fight back, like, this is what Spectre had done to him, you know, like, he caused his skin to rot, you know, he caused him to become a skeleton, you know, so, like, yeah, I think it's just, like, a punishment from Spectre. Or it could be, like, an improvement from Spectre, like, Spectre, here's another theory that I have, which I think is more plausible. Basically, you know how Spectre had also brought Shedletsky into the trials, into these trials. So I think that Spectre had promised 1x, like, revenge on Shedletsky by giving him these powers, and, like, so 1x could constantly kill Shedletsky over and over and over, but in exchange, 1x had to look like that. Like, you know, he had to have rotted skin, he had to be a skeleton, in exchange for getting abilities and getting to kill Shedletsky over and over and over. Again, that's at least my theory, and you all know, tell me in the comments what your theories are, but that's just my theory. Alright, now it's time for the final one. And one who I believe is the mascot of Forsaken, at least that's what I think. Cool Kid. So as it says here, Cool Kid has a childlike curiosity, and as you can tell by all of his voice lines, you know, like, he thinks that we're playing some tag. He's like with his voice lines, he says, "Let's play again sometime, ha ha ha, I'm it." So yeah, you know, he thinks that this is all just a game, and he doesn't know that what he's doing is wrong. And look, here, it says the strength of a monster, like, you know, he has the ability to throw rocks through walls, to summon clones that explode, like, you know, and he has the strength to snap someone's neck with one of his bare hands. So yeah, I think that Spectre had manipulated Cool Kid with his child brain. Like, you know, Spectre had been able to easily manipulate Cool Kid by making Cool Kid think that this is all just a game. This is all just one big game of tag. Like, you know, he's making Cool Kid just thinks that this is all one big game of tag. At least that's my theory, and I think that this is one of the more plausible theories for what happened. And what would make Cool Kid want to be part of the trials even more is if 007 and 7, his father was here. Like 007 and 7 is known to be Cool Kid's father. So what better way to convince someone that they're playing a king? So what better way to convince someone to join the trials than to make them think that they're also playing tag with their father and his friends? Like Cool Kid just thinks this is all one big game of tag with his father, and he doesn't know that he's doing anything wrong. Anyways, guys, yeah, those are just my theories for how. Anyways, yeah. But yeah, those are just my theories for how each killer had ended up in Forsaken, and how Spectre had convinced each killer to join Forsaken and the trials, as I call them. Anyway, guys, if you want to see my theories on how each survivor had ended up in the trials, please leave a like and let me know down in the comments if you want to see. Leave a like and subscribe, and goodbye.